Hey.
Okay, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. We shall take the usual format today, beginning with a broadcast section, Sky Sports News and Gail Davis. Off you go, Gail.
Afternoon. Admittedly, you've not had much time, but strip some of the emotion away from post-match yesterday, sat down with your players maybe, got into them about how they felt the game went yesterday. What did you come out with?
Disappointment, missed opportunity. I think they're the two main things, and not just from the game yesterday afternoon. I think from the last three games we've now had. I think the performances in terms of tactically, technically, how we set up the game, how the players performed in between both boxes, very good. But in the moments that mattered, we haven't taken advantage of the moments. And for me, we should have 4 more points from the 2 games before, and definitely at least a point from our performance, barring those moments.
We talked, I know, a lot post-match about discipline. We can guess what's happening. You can have an idea. What are the players saying to you about it?
It needs to improve. It needs to improve.
Who's going to take that responsibility? Does that almost have to come from them when you go back and look at some of them?
Yeah, my job is to create a this word culture, is to create a culture of accountability, where if you make a mistake, it's okay, you hold your hands up and you make sure it doesn't happen again. But you have to hold your hands up to the original mistake. If I make the wrong team selection or I get something wrong, my job is to be accountable, and it's the same for my players in that moment.
Because I don't know whether you've seen the other clip of Netta getting his first yellow, and he goes on and he goes on, and Reece James tries to move him away, and he carries on and he carries on. So in that moment, who has to have a word with him? Who has to say, why are you doing that?
Yeah, you need teammates to help you, but it comes down to yourself as well. Look, Pedro's apologised to the group. We miss him for Wednesday. I just need to see an improvement in the behaviour now. And it's not just Pedro. We've had bookings, people speaking about dissent. We've had needless bookings in terms of fouls. If we are to improve and get to where we want to be, we have to make a conscious step now to make sure it doesn't happen again.
One more indiscipline.
It won't be the last of the press conference, so it's all good, absolutely fine.
Because you mentioned dissent, and you look at the players that have got yellow cards for dissent, and since August 2023, Enzo Fernandez has got 12 yellows. He's your vice captain. Okay, so if your vice captain is getting booked for dissent all the time, what message does that send out to the rest of the side? And do you have to maybe think about him as a vice captain within?
Never. Enzo's a top leader, not even entered my mind. Yeah, I feel there's something that needs to improve, and yes, we're a young team. It's not an excuse. We have an outstanding team. They're young. We are one of the youngest in the league, one of the youngest in Europe. The beautiful thing about having a young team is sometimes you need to go through experiences to improve. This is a massive learning experience for my group. I do not want it to be a learning experience where we fail in what we want to achieve, but these setbacks that we are having, we have to learn from, because if we do learn from them, we've proven, even in my short time here, that we can be an elite team for a long time.
Yeah, that's just finally for me, and I know that it's sort of sounding quite negative, but I just wanted to pick up on something else we spoke about last night in terms of Sanchez and his performance again yesterday. And you sat there and talked about not wanting to make players do what they're not comfortable doing. Is he becoming more comfortable doing what he's doing? Because watching him yesterday, there was that sense of the crowd on his back. He feels quite nervous. He looks quite nervous. And how is his confidence in him performing in the way that you want him to perform in the system that you're trying to impose on your team?
I think each player adds to the overall picture and the functionality of your team, right? So, yes, the first few minutes we had a few nervy spells. The fact that we played out from the back affected Chelsea's press and gave us space in the areas that we wanted to have those spaces. I think that's just as clear. So I don't want to single out players and say what they can or can't improve. It's about the functionality of the team. I don't think anyone can say in the moment, other than the 2 set play moments, my team did not function well in the game. Away at, by the way, the league leaders, top of the Champions League. we functioned in a very good way for a lot of the game. The reason we lost the game is we didn't take care of the moments. Nothing to do with Rob's build, nothing to do with the way that we played. We have to manage those moments to win games of football.
Soraya?
Hi, Liam.
Hi.
Aston Villa next.
Yeah.
They're a team that have scored the most goals from outside the box in Prem, 13.
Mm.
So one part of my question is, how do you prepare your team for individual excellence? Because that comes from nothing, space outside the box. And secondly, last night we saw Caicedo against Arsenal, left foot, take a shot from far. You have Caicedo, Reece, Enzo, Palmer, these players that can score from far. Is this an instruction that you want them in these tight games to take a shot from far?
Well, you would never tell Moi Caicedo or Enzo or Reece or Cole or Pedro, you would never tell them not to take a shot if they didn't think it was the right decision in that moment. In terms of preparing for Aston Villa, we know the reason they score great goals is because they have great attacking players. We show individual clips to our players. Our players know the strengths and weaknesses of each individual we're up against. It's going to be a very difficult game. They're very clinical in terms of the XG that they create, in terms of the values of the goals that they score. They're a good team. It's going to be tough because they're going to have a reaction from their last result, and we have to make sure we're prepared for a very difficult game.
Well, after last night's game, 17.6% of the goals scored in the Premier League this season have come from corners, which is the highest in history. So 138 goals out of 780 come from corners. Chelsea have the highest chances conceded in the top 5 leagues from corners, so we know set pieces is an issue. Just some clarity on like your staff and what you're actually involved in. Are you really involved in that defensive setup, or do you like to leave that?
I am now.
You are now.
It's not a laughing matter because it's a key thing that we have to improve. Every manager has a different idea about the way you attack and defend set plays. I will always be honest, I've taken more responsibility in the last week because I know it's something that needs to improve. Bernardo has proven what a fantastic set piece coach he is in terms of our offensive output, is amongst the best in the league. And it's not just down to coaching, it's down to mentality, it's down to focus and concentration. And I think by the manager taking control of that, hopefully from a mentality point of view, the value of that goes up in terms of the way that we work with it.
And lastly, you said previously, I know we need to win in the short term, but also need to build for the long term.
100%.
You've gone toe-to-toe with the league leaders. All of these dropped points are games you could have won. It's not like you've underperformed. So is this style of football the true identity to how you want to play, or is it match by match? This is what we're dealing with right now. Is there still things that are true to
No, I think you always adapt. No matter what your identity is, you adapt it for each game. I agree with you. I think if we're being rounded in our opinion of the games, I can't think of one game since I've taken over where you come away and say, didn't deserve to win that. Even West Ham, when we're 2-0 down, we deserve to win the game. What we haven't done is taken advantage of moments, and for a coach that can be really frustrating. But you also have to have an understanding it's part of the process. It's part of the process for me to learn about the players, which I've said before. What I have learned, the biggest thing is that these players are more than capable to perform the identity that I want to play with, but that takes months. What we have to do is win in the short term, but also with an eye of being consistently elite in the long term.
Thanks, Soraya. Ian?
Hi Liam, how are you?
Very good.
You said before discipline needs to improve. You need to see an improvement in that. Players need to be better behaved. I mean, there's 7 red cards, and I think most of the teams probably rather have one or none this season. What does improvement look like in terms of what can you actually do? Because these are grown men. You can't send them to bed without their favourite teddy. You can't deny them watching TV. How can you use a stick to get them to?
Sometimes it's not a stick, it's showing what the value of not having a red card is. If you look at our stats, when we have 11 men on the pitch, before my job here and after my job here, our percentage chance of winning goes through the roof. So that needs to be motivation in itself to make sure we stay disciplined in key moments. I think reacting to setbacks, and sometimes a setback is giving the ball away, sometimes a setback is a referee making a decision you disagree with. In that moment, you have to react positively, and then you have to think of the next thing. And they're the things that we have to go after in order for our discipline to improve.
The discipline has been a problem here, like you say, before you even arrived. So clearly these players have been told about it. You think they've been told about it. It maybe isn't sinking into them.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how you want me to answer that. It's more of a statement than a question.
Okay. How do you talk about results, but how do you get this to sink in with them? How do you get the pennies to drop?
Well, I think the first thing, you pick players who actually who are showing that improvement. I can't afford to go through a season every 2 games or every 3 games with a red card. It's not possible. So I need to see improvement in that, and I need to adjust my team selection based on who's showing those capabilities.
Last one, Arnold Slot today has been talking about goals scored from set pieces and corners. Liverpool have improved. I think you're good at scoring them and not so good at defending them. But it's more about how aesthetically pleasing that looks, the beautiful game. Are we losing something regarding football and how great it looks because so many goals are now being scored from corners, set pieces and long throws?
I think that is the beauty of football. You can do it in so many different ways. There's no right or wrong way to play football for me. I'm sure when we scored from a corner yesterday, it was flicked on lone goal. Our fans didn't care what the goal looked like. And I'm sure Arsenal's fans didn't care how their goals looked like. The game is about winning. What I would say is about corners, I do think there needs to be a review at the end of the season in terms of the way teams are affecting the goalkeepers, the way teams are holding on defensive set plays, because I think that is something that gives an unfair advantage to certain teams.
Thanks, Ian. Nizar?
Hi, Liam. Just before the match, PSG managed to get a game moved against Nantes, and I was wondering what you thought of that, because on the face of it, it looks a little bit like an advantage over Chelsea for those up in the Champions League.
I think that's their prerogative. PSG are a club that I have huge respect for. Liga as a league, as a league I have a huge respect for as well. It's not for me to speak on those things. It's got nothing to do with me. What we have to do is manage our schedule the best we can so that we're as fresh and as psychologically healthy and good as we can be in that game.
Fair enough. And yesterday there was Cobham went down injured for a little spell, and it looked like to me that with his sort of issue, it's been quite a painful one, the groin issue that he's had. It looked like maybe a flare up of that.
It wasn't. No, it was something. He took a knock. He was absolutely fine.
Okay, and does there any concerns about how you're using him for the sort of busy period that you're coming up with, because you've got a game every few days? How's sort of his fitness?
He's looking really good. I think you can see in the way we've managed him over the last 6 weeks that he played 83 minutes. That was tactical. Why I took him and Enzo off, they were both on yellow cards, and I wanted Garner and Liam to come on and give us a freshness, which I felt they did. He's absolutely fine to start the game on Wednesday.
Thanks, Nizar. And we'll finish this section with Simon.
And then just following up, really, sort of team news just generally, is there anyone back or any updates from the
No, getting closer. Cuckoo's looking really good. Hopefully we can get him back involved, if not for Wednesday, for Saturday for sure, which is great with the schedule we've got coming up. It's good. Esteval's back on the pitch running, which is great. Jamie Gittins is doing really well. It's been brilliant to have Romeo Lavia get his first minutes in a long time. I felt he looked really strong. So yeah, the quicker we get all of our players healthy, the better.
And on Romeo, how close do you think he is to starting? Is he going to be
Close. I want to manage him in a different way in terms of his rehab, and hopefully once he's back fit, which he is now, he stays fit.
And he's good to go again?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, everyone. Cameras off, please.